Today's Wednesday, May 2nd, 2018. It is that time of the week.
You're tuned in to the Elevator Radio Show, a weekly program dedicated to covering news and information on elevators, escalators, and moving walkways. Produced in the wee hours of the morning, a new show is uploaded every Wednesday, sometimes even before you get out of bed. Listen to some of the comments sent in from our audience.
Rob from New York writes, Tom, are you f***ing insane? You actually get up at 2 a.m. each Wednesday to put this show out? Man, you must love elevators. Tim from Illinois writes, I'm not sure why I listened, but ever since I tuned into the first show back in 2007, I've been addicted. Matt in Texas writes, I like your safety messages, Tom. It's important to remember them each and every day. And he also adds,
when am I going to win the monthly prize pack giveaway?
Ron from California sent this in. Despite your inability to pronounce words in the English language, I tune in each week and am glad that you offer this service to the industry. It's better than Google News alerts. Sarah from Washington writes, love the show, Tom, and look forward to it each week. I'm glad I signed up for the newsletter. You provide a valuable resource for the industry, not only for North America, but worldwide.
Enjoy the show. And now, here's your sleep-deprived host, Tom Seibert.
Hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whenever you are tuning into the show, whether you're listening to it, watching it, whatever you're doing, thank you for joining us today. This is week number 503 in terms of number of podcasts that have been produced. Welcome to the program. Good to be here. Hard to believe that in the Chicagoland area, it has been actually nice and warm the last 2 days, and I have been enjoying it. I know that I'm getting older when the sun and the warmth makes my bones just feel nice and warm inside. Top of that, it's been just a really busy time at work. Also with end of school year for my kids. My oldest is coming back in a couple of weeks. My little two guy, well, my young two guy, they're bigger than I am, not quite little anymore, but they're playing lacrosse and volleyball. So like every night we're doing something. I'm not getting home until like 7:30, 8:30, whatnot. So it's just real busy. So, but I wouldn't trade it for the world, just so you know, no matter how hard it might be or how tough it is. I look back and I'm like, you know what? I only have a couple more years of this to go, and I'm going to enjoy every minute of it as best that I possibly can. Hey, got a good show for you today. A little short on content, which is great. The good news is there weren't any accidents, which is nice to see. Have some good articles to share that, especially the last one of the show, that I think will pose some interesting comments perhaps, or maybe just some deeper contemplation in how you think about safety on the job, and hopefully it goes far for you, in remembering that each and every day. Just a shout out to those out there, my good friends who have gone through some medical procedures in the last week. There's at least 4 of you out there, and I'm thinking about you, just so you know. And speedy and safe recovery to all of you. And that's about it. So we'll get into the news content next. Again, it's May 2nd. Hard to believe that April went by so fast. And we're kicking off into a busy season of just stuff that's going on. So hopefully you're busy in your neck of the woods with good busyness, not bad busyness. All right, we'll cover the news of the week next.
Let this week's news stories give you a lift on what's happening in the vertical transportation arena. Each news segment is organically dug and fresh with news stories of the week. Got lift? If not, stay tuned.
Alrighty, the first news article, which I thought was pretty ingenious, was actually the 3 or 4 articles talking about the BART Bay Area Rapid Transit and their pilot program to have elevator operators, or attendants, I should say, in, I think, 1 or 2 of their stations in San Francisco to not only shoo away drug users, but shoo away urinators. What's a little concerning here, which is understandable, is the attendants that are working in the elevator, of all the photos you might see, have these gloves on, which makes you not think exactly, or makes you not think that elevators in general are clean, and especially these in that case. But still, maybe this is what more of our world's problems need is some personal touch, some personal attention in hiring people that can not only clean these elevators, but also, to be a welcoming face when those that are using them are doing so. So I think that's kind of cool. And if you go over to elevatorradioshow.com, do a keyword search for the show 502, you're going to see a old vintage photograph. Let's go back here real quick. Of some lady elevator operators that date back probably to the 1940s, maybe 50s, where some of the larger department stores thought that young, attractive women pressing elevator buttons as you traveled in a store and also direct you to different things you might be looking for was the way to go. So I think it's pretty cool. I hope it works out, and maybe we will see elevator attendants in in elevators across the world. Maybe it'll come back. Maybe we'll bring car switches back. I don't think that'll happen, but it's just interesting. I thought that was cool. So hopefully that solves the issue of the urination that they are dealing with, and that's disgusting. I don't understand it, but it is what it is. Either that, or perhaps maybe they should just put bathrooms closer to the elevators so that those that are riding them and using them for bathrooms are not doing so and marking their territory, what they seem to be doing right now. There's another article and some great photographs. So just check out the photos that are in here because it gives you an idea. Everybody seems to be smiling, and I'm sure those that are riding the elevators are there. Hopefully everybody feels comfortable with all this. I don't know if that's the case necessarily, and hopefully there's not a day when somebody just comes in there with an elevator attendant in there, just goes to the bathroom anyway, and here's a photo that actually shows an attendant with a chair in there, just kind of relaxing. So, you know what? I think it's pretty cool. Hopefully that works out. Okay, Otis launches higher level of customer service. This article coming from Facility Executive, Creating Intelligent Buildings, their website. Click out the post thing here. I think this is cool. It's nice to see that Otis is offering an improved service that celebrates its employees who roll up their sleeves every day and deliver on the commitments we make to their customers. So I think that's pretty cool. So not quite sure exactly what this whole thing involves or whatnot, but I think anytime we are improving the service that we give back to our customers is always a good thing. Obviously, it doesn't always go thanked, I guess I should say, but still need to see companies setting standards like this and trying to bring more to the table, especially for a company that's been around for so long like Otis. Portland Tribune has an article. It seems like this week's show has a lot of mass transit type articles. And this one coming from, like I said, the Portland Tribune, where they're talking about the TriMet elevator repair set for MAX stations. They're looking to upgrade 19 elevators at a cost of $22 million, beginning at the Northeast 60th Avenue MAX station. And heavily used outdoor elevator. Yeah, so hopefully they get equipment that's going to last and is going to provide them with some reliable service in the future. So we hope that does that. And as you can imagine, any outdoor elevator, anything that's outdoors is going to have some issues with it, or perhaps require additional maintenance depending on how protected that equipment is. And that seems to be something that many people don't realize, is that equipment that's in harsher environments do require a step up in maintenance and ensuring that those pieces of equipment run as reliably as possible. Next news article, elevator repair. Oh, I already did that one. I'm sorry. Elevators are going green. Here's a PR piece from the Smithsonian Magazine. You don't see too many of these. I was a little bit surprised to see Smithsonian putting their name on this, but it was interesting to say the least, talking about the green elevators in general, and I also learned some information regarding lead design and accreditation, so I thought it was pretty interesting. One of those, things that elevator companies are always trying to do or trying to become more of in light of the competitiveness and the desire to become a LEED certified building or whatnot. But it's a good piece. I think it's cool. Interesting to see some of the information that they cited in this. Some of it I agree with, some of it I don't, but I'm not an expert on it. But yeah, so anyway, link is in the show notes if you want to check out more on that. Okay, next news article. Otis is going solar in South Carolina. Otis Elevator Company goes solar with 1.2 megawatt system in South Carolina. It's cool. Hannah Solar Government Services. recently completed the construction of a 1.2 megawatt ground-mounted solar array for Otis Elevator Company at the company's facility in Florence, South Carolina. I love this stuff. I really wish it were more cost-effective to where the return on investment was there for A, homeowners, and then B, businesses at the same time. But I think it's cool. It's pretty slick to see a solar array like this powering a facility like their manufacturing company, their wing or whatever they do down there in South Carolina. But I thought it was pretty cool. I'm sure it was not inexpensive by any means, and but still kind of cool. Heck, I'd like to put a rooftop garden on top of on my building. I think that'd be pretty slick, although I think eventually that might be a mess in its own. Popular Science has a retro article in how they covered the Empire State Building's 1931 elevator, and they got it's pretty slick. They've got some of the photographs from when they ran it and kind of the diagram. And it's pretty cool when you think about back in 1931 and the technology that was there to do what they needed it to do. Although these are car switch elevators with enunciators and it looks like buttons too. I just think it's pretty cool how engineers back in the day were able to come up with these designs that were mechanical, electrical coils, coppers contacts to make our city's transport build up, which I thought was awesome. So. Yeah, it's pretty cool to go back and look at some of this and realize that while it's standard practice now, in 1931 it was far from that. So, pretty neat. It's neat to see retro pieces like this. I wish, honestly, there were more of them throughout the world or online. I think the best part of learning or preparing for the future and planning for it and moving towards it is by learning from your past. Can't forget about that. Okay, next article that I found, this I guess was the only accident, although I'm not quite sure when this happened. I hate really listing dailymail.co.uk articles because they seem like they are linked to a bunch of these YouTube type generation things. But anyway, there's a article or piece that talks about two grandparents who took their grandson to take an escalator at a shopping mall in central China. Well, apparently, I guess let's see here. One fell backwards. I think one other was holding onto a cart. But anyway, it's not the right escalator equipment. And I got so many ads popping up right now. I got to get off that site. So sorry about that. But yeah, you know what? Majority of escalator accidents that occur are due to rider behavior. Make sure that you are riding safe and you are sharing that information with people because people just don't get it, and that's the bottom line. MTA is building new elevators as part of a third track project in Floral Park. This is part of the Long Island Railroad Station, and cool to see this rendering in the image. Continue for free. But it's cool. Looks like a cool elevator here. Hopefully they build it in a way that's going to be reliable and it runs for as long as it possibly can without any kind of issues. But pretty slick elevator. If you take a look at the photograph on this in this link, this article coming from Newsday.com. Okay, next news article. Season 2 of the Elevator Pitch. I'm a big fan of Entrepreneur magazine, although I don't get it anymore, but they always got good little tips in there for business owners and whatnot to kind of give.
This is not a hotel.
Oh my gosh, that scared the heck out of me. Okay, anyway, but I've not seen the show. If anybody's seen it, hopefully it's good and it's better or it's different than like Shark Tank, but still neat to see elevator attached to an entrepreneurial program where people are trying to sell their ideas and trying to get their businesses going so that it makes sense. So, yeah. Do you have an elevator pitch ready? Maybe we all need one a little bit more than what we've got, Okay, investigation launched into boy's foot entrapment. This is a story that I did not cover on last week's show. Maybe I did. Yeah, it does look familiar. Apparently, a boy's trapped an escalator on school trip after shoe gets stuck. All I can say is I think you're going to find that the shoe and the foot should not have been where it should have been, and the investigation should not really take too long. So hopefully they share that information, and then the lessons learned from the accident are shared with the general world and the general population of the interweb that we are all part of. Next news article, 1 minute attack let hacker spoof hotel master keys. This is kind of scary. Not that I'm a big, not that I'm one of those guys that puts their wallet wrapped in aluminum foil because they're worried somebody's going to scan their stuff, which probably could happen. I'm just not going to worry about that kind of stuff. I know people that are like that, and if you're like that, nothing against you. Wrap as much stuff as you can in aluminum foil. I don't care. But it's just amazing that there's technology out there that literally can do this, can suck a RFID number or tag off of a card or a master key and then allow you to get into hotel rooms. You don't see that every day. And my thing is that if a crook is going to go through that much trouble to rob your hotel room, maybe they should get a job doing something else. So anyway, yeah, kind of scary. Okay, the Chicago Elevator Association 4th Annual Scholarship Fundraiser is coming up. There's no CEA meeting, Chicago Elevator Association meeting this month, so the only replacement for that is the May 17th, 2018 annual scholarship fundraiser, and that is you can register by clicking the link through the show notes as well as sponsors. So we love the support. It's a great time. We have our own little box, and it's just a good time. As much as the whole harness racing thing, I don't get. I mean, if you can disqualify a horse because they are running too fast, what in the world is the point? But I enjoy it nonetheless. I'll bet on a few horses and then leave scratching my head once again, asking myself, why in the world can a horse not run but gallop or trot in a race like that? Seems kind of counterproductive, kind of like those walking races. Or speed walking. Is there such a thing? And at what point is speed walking and running not the same thing or the same thing? I don't know. Next news article. This is an interesting one. It was I'm just gonna post on it real quick. It came from 660news.com. It's about a woman. I'm gonna get off this for a minute just because it's gonna blare in my ears. I just know it. Okay. It's about a woman who had her leg amputated, lives in Edmonton or in that area. And she was told by the university she was attending that you may not want to, the elevator's not very reliable, just so you know. If that happened in the United States, you'd have a lawsuit up somebody's butt so fast they wouldn't know what hit them. What's even sadder and scarier and unfortunately troubling is the fact that when the news media contacted the university, they denied a comment, but yet they did not deny that they had said what they had said to this young woman who just wants to go to school and cannot because the elevator is unreliable. Now, this whole law that's being processed and put together so that maintenance and elevators are not down too long in Canada, it just drives me crazy because at the end of the day, I feel the competition should take care of whether or not your elevator is running or not. So why are there not more elevator companies that swoop in that say, okay, you're not happy with your elevator contractor because your elevator's down all the time. Here, I have a solution for you. I will fix your elevator. I will do X, Y, and Z to make sure your elevator is running. Why is that not happening in Canada? For my Canadian listeners up there, why does a law need to be put into place that requires maintenance on elevators and that if elevators aren't running for a specific period of time, you get fined? Why do we need that? Does that make sense? Is it because the price of maintenance is so low, it's been beaten down to the point where you can't compete anymore? Or I just don't get it. I don't get it. There should never need to be a law requiring elevators to run. And if there is, it just doesn't make sense. And it's interesting to see how Canada or that area is handling this compared to the United States. And I mean, I'm glad that Canada is not as litigious, legal lawyer sue lawsuit stuff happy as we are. But I just don't get it. I don't get how that problem can't take care of itself. I don't get it. Anyway, somebody explain it to me. I'm sure I'm missing something. Hey, if you're in need of QEI credits for your recertification, NASA.org is your source for that. They've got tons of educational opportunities for you to take part in, and lots of stuff going on. Lots of stuff going on. Always busy. They've got more things going on regarding education than anybody that I know. So make sure you put that on your calendar. Don't wait till the last minute. And last news article, this is one that's going to make you go, really interesting blog post created by Christopher Cochet regarding NFPA 70E code. And just so you know, it doesn't really affect, the elevator industry. However, what it does touch on is whether or not in terms of accidents and risk assessments, whether or not the NFPA 70E is heading backwards. What I took away from this, and I think is extremely important, if you don't read anything else on this post, read the last paragraph. This is key, and I just want to touch on things because it paints a picture where all of us could possibly be someday with an employee that either gets hurt or B, is worse, worsely fatally injured on the job. And what it all comes down to is that we all know, we're all aware of what could have occurred. But at the end of the day, are we doing enough to ensure that what we know to be safe, what we know to be true, is not just thoughts and words in our head? And this hits it perfectly. And as he sums up at the end, he goes, "What do you do? What do you know now? You knew all this stuff. You knew what the PPE needed to be. You knew might have been hazardous fumes in there. You knew so much. But at the end of the day, you know that you have been prevented. You may have prevented a fatality, but your employee's family knows that they did not return home today. Also, OSHA knows that your employee was injured regardless of what you thought you knew. So it's more than what you think you know, what you thought you knew. It's like the escalator, like the general public riding the escalator. We all assume they know what the hell they're supposed to be doing on that thing, but that's just not the case. And obviously we can't, I don't know. We just can't. I don't know. It seems like it's just an issue. It's a big concept, and it's something that we all need to just focus on. And hopefully we'll have more discussions on this in the future, and how we can make things and take steps to make sure safety is paramount, as it should be. Obviously, more than going beyond a toolbox talk every Monday. I know some companies do that, but at the end of the day, we all want to go home at the end of the day. And when somebody in our industry doesn't do that because of a workplace-related fatality or accident or whatever, it's not acceptable. It's not acceptable. So read the article, share it in your toolbox talk, because it especially it just hits home with me. So anyway. That's going to do it for the show, everybody. I told you I'd have you out of here in no time. So as always, thanks for tuning in. It has been my pleasure to bring show 502 to you. I hope you get out, enjoy the weather wherever you're at, enjoy the warmer temperatures, and I think we are, on the upswing to spring. And for those friends of my good friends of mine who are recovering from medical procedures, to my mom, I hope you feel much better. I'm glad to see you're doing well. My dad's having surgery this morning, or a procedure on his eye, and so I'm thinking of my parents. I'm thinking of all of you out there who might be going through some medical issues or medical steps to getting better, and I wish nothing but the best for all of you. We'll be back next Wednesday. Take care, everybody. Be safe, and thanks again for joining me. Take care. Bye-bye.